So I'm Brian Osborn. I'm the auto shop teacher here at Healdsburg High School. I've been here 22 years. I also teach U.S. history. I've done some world history. I've coached basketball, softball, whatever. I'd say my real passion is cars and has been since I was probably 12 or 13 years old. So when I was growing up, my dad had 2 cars in the garage that were just sort of always in the way. And you know, we're always walking around and we used to crawl on top of them to get to the attic, and they just were sort of there, and I didn't even understand cars at all. When I turned about 12 or 13, I started asking him about these cars, and he goes, well, I bought that one years ago, and it just sat there. So he said, hey, if you want to work on it, go ahead. And so I just bought a battery with some money I had from birthday money or whatever, and then started working on it. And he cut me a deal, says, listen, we'll build it up. It's not something you could drive in the street. It was a 32 Durant. So it was just this old junky car. But once we got it rolling, he said, hey, we'll sell it and you can get half the money. And so I sold it and made some money and go, that was kind of cool. And then he had another car in the garage. We got that going, and he gave me some money for helping him. And all of a sudden I started making some money doing this. And so I got really into cars when I was 15. I was ready to buy my first car. And so I got a Volkswagen Bug, which taught me how to work on cars because it was a pile of crap. And I had to work on it pretty much every weekend. And once I sold that, I realized that, you know, I was probably 18 when I sold it. I made some money on it, and then I had another car, and I sold it and made some money on it. And I started getting all these cool cars, and the more money I made, the more I could buy these cars. I've always wanted these old cars, and you meet kind of some really cool people, and as I met them, I realized they knew people that had cars, or they had an uncle that had something in the field, and I'd go look at it and buy it and pick it up, and all of a sudden I had 3 or 4 cars in my dad's house, and he's like, enough. And so I kind of stopped for a while once I got married and got my own house, and now I got some acreage. I'm back to having cars all over the place, and it's really fun. I meet a lot of cool people, and in the end, I'm taking cars that are kind of forgotten, getting them back on the road, and I really appreciate that. And then I get them to people who are going to use them and appreciate them and take them to car shows and kind of just, you know, revitalizing these cars out of the fields kind of makes me happy. Okay, so when I was growing up, there was a movie, Stand and Deliver. And Stand and Deliver had this scene, and the actor, Lou Diamond Phillips, is actually actor, is really young, and he's in school, and he's kind of a hoodlum. And him and his friend go driving around town in this car, and you can barely see it in the movie, and it's a 56 210 Chevy wagon. It's a 4-door. But I remember seeing the movie, and it's only in the movie for like a minute. You see this thing, and then I was like, man, that's the car I want. And so about 5 years ago, I sold all my other cars, and I found one in Chico, went over, picked it up, and I still have it today. I absolutely love the car, and for no other reason than I saw it in that movie. I always wanted one. They were hard to find, and I finally found one, had the money to buy it, and I absolutely love it. That's really the epitome. That car will always be with me. I have all kinds of cars that come and go. I bring some to the shop here at the school. They're at my house all the time. My kids get to see them, and my wife doesn't even come up and look at them anymore. She goes, why would I go look at it? It's gonna be sold in a week. And it's true. It's fun. It's what I do for a hobby. I meet cool people, and my kids are starting to enjoy it. So hopefully, when they get to drive, they'll be driving something cool to school, and hopefully it'll change all the time. And maybe I'll teach them how to make money on them too.